you've got a lot going on. I've got a lot going on. You've got fires that you're fighting. I've got fires that I'm fighting. I'm moving logistics and people, and you're doing the same. And we got out of province businesses and out of city businesses. Like sometimes it's like, I can't keep up. And my perception of how you're addressing or dealing with issues can be totally out of whack with how you see it. So then it is about communication. Now, as a couple that are in business and businesses together and apart, it's really important to see that that can happen even with careers. Long-winded, and point being is that as couples, we also need to stop and have a conversation to put in the correction so that the trajectory doesn't go away and we're operating on top of something for 2-3 weeks and then it comes out sideways and blows up. Now, I gave you some context and was meaning to, pitch you a couple of softballs that you could maybe take on. And I want to add one more thing. I'm still going on. I'm going to add one more thing.
Keep going. You're good. You're on a roll.
I think is important. And that is that even when we talk about launching our Shift program in September, one of the things that around what we do a Shift is the work that gives you the tools to actually have these conversations. And a lot of that is just because we're guiding you and helping you get to really your truest self, that level of authenticity that you can have these conversations in a powerful way. Number one. Number two, even with entrepreneurial think tank or investor think tank that we did, it was really about how do you create a team? How do you create the structure for your investor focused or your business that is based on clear communication, managing expectations, stating expectations, making sure your intentions are clear and aligned with the rest of the team. By the way, none of this comes naturally and none of it is easy per se. It is really about creating a culture and an environment within your team that it becomes the norm. And that way it doesn't show up as this like, oh gosh, he's pissed off or the boss is pissed off or whatever the case may be. It really is about culture, environment, community within your own circumstances, your own business, perhaps your career, your job. So again, I wanted to just kind of put that in there. It is intentional. It does take some, I guess, practice as well and some real thoughtfulness so that you're rolling it out in a productive way that actually lights everybody up around you, because communicating at that level is way more fun than going back and forth to an office or meetings, operating on top of unstated expectations or not knowing exactly what the intention is. And perception is reality. So how do we clear those perceptions up?
Wow. There's a lot there. And I really think we probably can expand this into a second podcast, because one of the things that came up for me when you were talking is that we building environments and culture, and we talk about culture and environment as if it's something outside of us. I had a client not long ago, a business client, talking about a toxic environment. The office is a toxic environment, toxic. And I'm hearing these buzzwords, and I'm pretty sure it's, be coming from this whole narrative that's coming out through everything that's happening right now that's created all this divisiveness and supposed to be around inclusivity. But the truth is it's an inversion. It's actually creating exclusivity or exclusive ways of being with each other. And I was able to talk to her around what a toxic environment was. And I asked her underneath that, because where she was going was it had something to do with the actual physical environment. I said, truly, and I won't use her name, but I said, there are no toxic environments. There are only toxic communications. And toxic communications, if you look underneath that, is an unexpressed expectation or an avoidance or a blind spot of having a conversation that needs to be had so that people are on the same page. People from different backgrounds, ethnicities, cultures, language barriers can all create, and we can all exist and coexist. But when we're demanding from each other to be heard and understood before we're trying to understand a situation, to me, that's where the toxicity lives. There are no toxic environments, because when all those people leave and go home at night, the environment's exactly the same. The desks are there, the computers are there, the lights are out, the garbage maybe, needs to be taken out. The environment itself isn't toxic. What's happening is we're not taking the time to flesh out the unexpressed assumptions, the expectations that are coming forward, not checking in on people's reality and understanding that the alignment of our perception is changing. Has the goal changed? Has the mission of the business changed? Has the commitment or connection of the couple in a relationship shifted because of some of these external narratives that are going on right now? That, to me, is where perception and my perception and your reality If we don't have that conversation, especially now, we're going to be moving into a new era, which is one of the podcasts we had before. And I think that's going to be a really important conversation going forward, is that what baggage and what blind spots are we bringing into a new relationship, into a new era, into a new context of a business, for example, that's not operating on top of old rules, old standards, old things that we need to let go of. We need to dump some of that baggage. It's not going to go forward into a new powerful future if we're going to keep dragging stuff forward that hasn't worked, especially now that the rules have all changed.
Beautiful.